This is the left hook, everyone, and some good news because we have to take the small, if you will, mustard seeds of good news, as my fabulous co-host Daniel Moody says. Greg Bovino, the commander, the Border Patrol chief, that Greg Bovino, has now been sacrificed at the MAGA altar because Republicans have been looking at the polls. Republicans have seen a lot of white people and veterans and even some right-wingers pissed off that ICE is literally terrorizing their communities and killing white people and black people. And they're like, this is not good. This is not good for our security. This is not good for the polls. This is not good for the elections. And we're afraid that ICE might actually kill some more people. So a few folks, as we discussed earlier today on Democracy Issue, gave the receipts. Over the weekend, you saw rare pushback. Even on Fox, you saw some pushback. Maria Bertromo and a few others questioning the DHS narrative, the Bovino narrative, the Todd Blanche narrative, the spin, the bullshit, which justified the murder, the cold-blooded murder of Alex Pretti. Alex Pretti, 37-year-old registered nurse. His crime was being an American citizen, exercising his First Amendment right. Literally had his phone. That was enough for several ICE agents to beat him up and fire 10 shots at him, killing him while he was on the ground. They even took away his gun, and all the video shows he did not even remove his gun. He had a legal permit for conceal and carry. He was a internist, a nurse who helped veterans, and that did not stop Greg Bovino and Stephen Miller and Kristi Noem from defaming him and dehumanizing in death, which is exactly what they did to René Nicole Goode, which is why I always try to bring those receipts up that right as the body was still warm. René Nicole Goode was shot 3 times and killed by Officer Ross. I told y'all, pay attention. Kristi Noem, the head of DHS, called her what? A, quote, domestic terrorist. And furthermore, she said that she had weaponized her car. So they lied about René Goode. They dehumanized her and defamed her and slandered her in death. And then furthermore, because I like to bring the receipts, in the past 2 weeks, instead of investigating Officer Ross, whom Donald Trump, again, lied about what happened, even though we clearly saw the video, Donald Trump posted, even as René Goode's body was still warm, she tried to violently run him over. Thankfully, he survived. And then they lied that about internal injuries. CBS, which is going down the tubes, essentially is Pravda for this administration, does government propaganda, cited 2 government officials who said that Officer Ross had internal injuries. We saw the video. You saw the car didn't hit him. You saw that he walked over after calling her an effing B, unloading 3 rounds in her, killing her in the arm, in the lung, in the head. Then walked to his car, drove away. That's what they did to René Nicole Goode. I don't want you to forget. This was just 2 weeks ago. I do not want you to forget. Before that, at the beginning of the new year, just 3.5 weeks ago, Keith Porter Jr., a black man in LA. No one talks about him because there was no video. Another American citizen murdered by ICE. The community members, family members are saying this man was not violent. This man was not a terrorist. This man was not impeding law enforcement. Killed. But we don't talk about him because black man, also no video. René Nicole Goode, we saw with our eyes. Multiple videos, right? I don't want to forget her because people have already forgotten René Nicole Goode, right? I haven't. And you saw the playbook. Lie, gaslight, blame the victim, praise the officer, and then J.D. Vance said they have absolute immunity. No, they do not. They just never, ever get prosecuted. He should return his Yale law degree and get refunded. Less than 2 weeks later, over the weekend, same exact playbook, same exact cover-up. Alex Pretti, 37 years old, standing there, minding his own business, legally carrying his weapon, didn't even take out his gun. ICE agents were pepper spraying a white woman. He just intervened to save her, didn't put his hands on the ICE agents. They were so pissed off, started beating him up. As he was on the ground, almost prone, they took away his gun, and then one psychopath shot him 10 times, killing him. Before the body was cold, what happened? Same playbook. Stephen Miller called him a domestic terrorist. Greg Bovino said that he came there to cause mayhem. Kristi Noem again said, justified the murder. Greg Bovino praised the officer who shot and killed him, said he was still on the job. What's different? Nothing's different. Same thing that happened to René Nicole Goode happened to Alex Pretti. However, this is what changed. The first time you do it, maybe it's a mistake. It's not a mistake. The second time you do it, it's by design. That's how they're trained. That's the playbook. And it happened so quickly back to back that in the United States of amnesia, it was too much for people to say, nah, I forgot. It was too much for people to be distracted by the NFL game. Furthermore, it was a white woman, Nicole Goode, and it was a white man, Alex Pretti. And it was so egregious, and the lies were so egregious that even some Trumpers, I'm sure you've seen the videos, I voted for MAGA, I voted for Donald Trump, I love the Second Amendment, but this is too much. This is bullshit. I'm right-leaning. What the hell, man? They're terrorizing us. You've seen these videos, right? It's so egregious that even white Trumpers are like, bullshit. And furthermore, ICE agents for the past several weeks have been what? Terrorizing Minnesotans. Tear gas. I've been tear gas before in Turkey, folks. It's not fun. Flashbangs. It got leaked earlier this week that a whistleblower revealed that ICE has been instructed not to follow the Fourth Amendment. So without a warrant, they could just grab people from homes. They've gone against the First Amendment, lying and said, oh, you're impeding by filming. No, you're not. If you are filming them, you're not breaking any laws. In fact, we're going to have some strategies today that I just wrote, and then also what I've been listening to people about what you should do. And furthermore, we're going to talk about why they overstepped. I was going to originally call this Don't Go Full Nazi, Go Half Nazi. MAGA went full Nazi. That was going to be the original title of this. So MAGA went full Nazi. To quote, if I will, to paraphrase Tropic Thunder, never go full Nazi. Always go half Nazi. In fact, try your best not to go Nazi, but they've been going half Nazi for a while. You just haven't paid attention. In fact, you haven't called it out because you were told that you can't call it out. You can't say the word racist. You can't say white supremacist. You can't say fascist. But guess what? Even the Atlantic now is saying fascism, all right? The most centrist of centrists, milquetoast centrists, are using the word fascism. Bill Kristol, I'll give him credit. Bill Kristol, a neocon warhawk who helped found Bulwark for several months now, has been saying abolish ICE. I gave him credit when he first said it. He's still been saying it. You got Conway, Greg Conway now, of all people coming out, George Conway, excuse me, and saying abolish ICE. George Conway. You know who hasn't? Chuck Schumer and Democratic leadership. We're going to get to them. We're going to get to them. But for those who are trying to figure out what happened, they needed, if you will, the Trump administration needed a body. They needed a martyr. This was too much. Back to back, two white bodies murdered in cold blood by ICE, two egregious cover-ups, gaslighting, impeding of investigation. That's another important point. The same thing that happened to René Nicole Goode's happening with Pretti, Alex Pretti. State and local investigators are saying that they're not getting full access by federal law enforcement agency, right? So that is a cover-up. Okay. And so you're seeing this build. And what you have seen, something that is beautiful, it's bottom up. It's not top down. It's bottom up. The people of Minnesota, folks, that's the battleground. Minnesota, I read someone said Minnesota might be Trump's Stalingrad, might be Trump's Waterloo. Let's see. Minnesota is tried and tested because a mile away from where René Nicole Goode was murdered, people forget, there was also the murder of George Floyd. And in the past few years since his murder, the retcon has already started. Charlie Kirk, that piece of crap hate monger who should never have been killed and wasn't killed by a lefty, was killed by Tyler Robinson, a white man, not a black person, not a Somalian, not a Muslim. Tyler Robinson, a white man from a white Christian conservative family. Charlie Kirk led the way to try to rehabilitate Officer Chauvin, the man who was found guilty of murdering George Floyd, and him and Ben Shapiro, among others, said, hey, we got to pardon him. And the right wing was trying to get a pardon and commutation for Chauvin, and they tried to raise funds for him, and then they demonized George Floyd. This is what the criminal justice system, ICE and CBP, have been doing for decades. ICE has only been around for 20 years, but it's the entire system. This is part and parcel of the entire system, which is why so many black people in particular, folks, have said, this is why we don't trust law enforcement. We need law enforcement. We have family law enforcement, but we don't really trust the FBI and CIA and state and local police for this reason. Well, there is a reason. We're not crazy. We're not hysterical. We have experience with them, right? There's a reason why the Black Panthers in the 60s said, we don't trust local, state, and federal law enforcement. This is why we're going to exercise our Second Amendment rights and patrol our own communities and protect protect our own. And when that happened in the 1960s, guess who came out for gun control? The NRA, Republicans, and the governor of California at the time, Ronald Reagan. Can't have black people holding guns. And what happened a couple of days ago? Republicans overplayed their hand. Why would you bring a gun to a protest? You deserve to get shot, essentially is what they said. And then you saw the NRA say, whoa, 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 easy there. What do you mean? You could legally carry. You could legally carry and bring a gun. And they saw the compare and contrast where Kash Patel said, we have your back, Kyle Rittenhouse. We have your back. Don't worry. And then Kash Patel said, well, why did Alex Pretti bring a gun? Unlike Kyle Rittenhouse, he never took out the gun. He never carried it across state lines. He never brandished it in front of the police. Oh, yeah, and he didn't use it to shoot and kill people. If Kyle Rittenhouse does it, he's a hero, right? So that Second Amendment, right? So they went after the First Amendment. You can't record, you can't follow, you can't talk to them, you can't even use, you can't do, all your First Amendment rights of protest, that's gone. Then they went after the Second Amendment rights, and they pissed off a lot of right-wingers. And they've gone after the Fourth Amendment rights, right? But what really happened, folks, is they killed two white people. All right? And they killed two white people and was caught on camera. Irrefutable evidence. It was so irrefutable, again, for those who are joining us late, that even Fox said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Even a few Republican congressmen are like, all right, let's investigate this, okay? And so, if you look at the polls, and I've been talking about the polls on the left every day, in a week after René Nicole Goode's murder, and literally a day after Alex Pretty's murder, the YouGov polls have shown that now a plurality of Americans are against ICE within 2 weeks, just like that. Which is why I always say, human beings are impressionable. You can persuade voters. You just have to message and lead. Democrats said, look at the polls. It's only 44%. It's only 45%. It's only 51%. It's only 52%. Look, a few years ago when we said defund the police, oh, no, we're going to be cowards. And then I said, you're misreading the moment. You can persuade people. This is too much. Donald Trump has overreached on immigration. People are really pissed off. I'm telling you, white people are pissed off because I've seen two white people killed. Lead. You can take that number from 52, 53 against ICE to 60. I still say that. They still haven't done it, folks. We're going to get to Democrats in a second. But Republicans get it. Because Republicans are like, oh shit, we are losing white folks. We're losing some white Trumpers. We overreached. Some of us within the MAGA cult went against the Second Amendment. René Nicole Goode and Alex Pretti. Oh God, ICE is now unleashed. They might kill another white person. Okay, too much. They realize it. So internally, there's been some pushback. Politico did a piece where they're really pissed off at Kristi Noem. They're pissed off at Bovino. Kristi Noem is the DHS secretary. Kristi Noem, after René Nicole Goode was murdered, and this is why I said don't go full Nazi, and I use the word Nazi. I've used this talking point a lot because people forget I don't. After the murder of René Nicole Goode, in which Kristi Noem called her a domestic terrorist, she stood behind a lectern. There was a placard. The placard said, one of ours, all of yours. One of ours, all of yours. A Nazi slogan used by the Nazis to justify the massacre of every Czech villager, every male in a Czech village after an SS officer was killed. She decided, after the murder of René Nicole Goode, whom she called a domestic terrorist and said had weaponized her car, her words, always remember. And remember what they did with Alex Pretti. And then I want you to think about all the people who disappeared and were found dead. The brown and black people, the Muslims, the Arabs. Think about all the bullshit they've been saying to you for 20 years. And the fact that Democrats and Republicans have voted for the DHS and CBP and said we can't reform them and abolish them, right? We need to be tough on crime. You just saw with your own eyes, your own ears, the last 2 weeks, how they've lied to you or lied to you. The reason why I say full Nazi, they've gone full Nazi, is because Kristi Noem repeated a Nazi talking point. Remigrate, which has been tweeted 3 times from the DHS account, who's the head of DHS, Kristi Noem, is a white supremacist talking point that says ethnic cleansing, remove all black and brown Asian people and make Europe, America white again. Greg Bovino, the border control commander, I've mentioned this before. I've shared this. Bovino made a decision when he landed in Minnesota to dress as an SS officer. You guys see that? The SS coat with the haircut and the kind of not the Hail Hitler, but the salute, very deliberately invoking. I mean, it's like tit for tat. The photos that have gone viral. It's right there. SS officer Bovino. All right. Then you have, the white supremacist conspiracy theories, replacement theory that has been echoed by the entirety of the GOP. White genocide that was used as an excuse to bring white refugees and only white refugees, as they capped off refugees with the most minimum amount ever, 7,000, as they are trying to eliminate birthright citizenship. As they're trying to they removed temporary protected status. They have stopped processing visas from 75 of the 193 countries. Most of them wait for it brown. And they said, remember that? That was just 2 weeks ago, folks. We don't want for it to be a public charge on us, right? Meaning that they're a drain on us, right? All bullshit. All white supremacist talking points, folks. The Department of Labor and DHS posters, all white supremacist font, heritage, homeland. They literally took the Nazi slogan and just translated in English, our heritage and our homeland, right? So never go full Nazi. They went full Nazi. And thankfully, America's like, yeah, we'll tolerate a little bit of Nazi, but full Nazi, it's a bit too much. So Border Patrol Commander Greg Bovino is now the head that was delivered on the chopping block because they realized, we effed up. Donald Trump apparently had a very good call with Jacob Frey, the mayor, who I think has been leading. He's been blunt, even more blunt than Governor Walz. He then had a civil call with Governor Walz, the same man that he has mocked and ridiculed, the same man that Stephen Miller and Republicans are saying is impeding law enforcement, the same two men that the Justice Department, which is not the Justice Department, but is basically the mafioso arm of Donald Trump, is criminally investigating. Donald Trump called Mayor Frey and Waltz. Why? Because they're afraid. All right? They're afraid. This is why I'm telling you. I'm just telling you that these are signs of weakness, mustard seeds of hope, but I'll tell you why we're still, don't be fooled, folks. This is window dressing. So, Border Patrol Commander Bovino expected to leave Minneapolis tomorrow on Tuesday. And apparently he's going to go back to where he was, El Centro, and he's going to then resign or retire. Okay. So he's essentially getting booted. He's the one that they give, you need a sacrificial lamb. He's a sacrificial lamb. Now, some other buzz, and we talked about the reports that are coming from CNN yesterday and today, is that CNN has gone DHS officials who are saying internally they're pissed off at Kristi Noem. She's effed it up. She's a complete reek. She is not qualified and she's harming the agency. And she is just a yes woman for Donald Trump. So now they're looking at some potential other scalps, right? This is the language that the right wing uses. Remember, this is the language they used after they went after Harvard's the president of Harvard, I think her name was Claudine Gay. Remember that? She said, we got her scalp. They want Kristi Noem and her alleged lover, Corey Lewandowski. So they're like, all right, Noem sucks. Let's get rid of Noem. And also they're misogynists, right? So they got Bovino, who was loathed, dressed up as an SS officer, came there cosplaying. Remember that? Took his Gestapo slave patrol in Tarjay, where Tarjay still hasn't come out against ICE. Tarjay, by the way, even though their Latino employees are being harassed, had this milquetoast quisling message for unity, still hasn't come out against ICE. Boycott Tarjay, folks. Boycott Tarjay. They're the ones that bent the knee and abandoned their DI programs. Costco went all in. As a result, there was an economic boycott, a walkout, and all the people who shopped at Tarjay went to Costco. It hurt Tarjay. It hurt their bottom line. The CEO was forced to resign, and Tarjay still hasn't stood up for their Latino employees who are being harassed and beaten up by ICE. So Bovino, right, cosplaying like this and came up. But what really did it for Bovino, for those who haven't followed, is over the weekend, he lied. And again, there's nothing new with this, right? This is why I want you to be. We take the mustard seeds, but I want you to realize that we have to be more bold. We'll get to that in a second. But Bovino lied. Alex Pretti came there with the intention of massacring law enforcement. That's what he said. And they're like, well, that was a lie. And because of that, Waj, that's incorrect information. What did I say that was incorrect? Hold on. The CEO was promoted to the board of Target and raised. Was he? Hold on. Target CEO steps down. Hold on. Target CEO Brian Cornell stepped down on February 1st, 2026 after 11 years, succeeded by CEO Michael Fidelki as the company faced declining sales, excess inventory, and consumer backlash over DEI rollbacks amid broader challenges like inflation and competition. See? Okay, I was right. But if I'm wrong, no problem. So I was right, right? February 1st, 2026. Yeah. It was announced a couple of months ago, and he's finally doing it now. So pardon me, it was announced a couple of months ago, and it's officially happening next week. All right. Thank you. I'm trying my best to keep up with you. Thank you. But if I'm wrong, we always want to be factual, okay? We always want to be factual. So thank you for someone who jumped it. All right. So this is what we know so far. Now, never go full Nazi. You see America responding. And what we also saw even before the murder of Alex Pretti, a leaked audio call. Check it out; it's hilarious. Of Ted Cruz railing against Trump and Vance, swearing and getting pissed off because he wasn't even talking about the overreach on immigration. He was talking about the tariffs and the stupid trade war. Do you feel liberated yet? By the way, and he said that alone is going to ensure a bloodbath come election time, assuming we have free and fair elections. And he said, if they get the House, meaning the Democrats, you're going to spend every week facing impeachment. Yes, assuming if we have free and fair elections and if we elect the right Democrats. We will get to the Democrats. Now, all this is pretty good news, right? However, window dressing. Because the same day that it was announced that Bovino is going to go back and retire, essentially, it's going to be a tag team, right? They're replacing him with Tom Homan. Well, who is Tom Homan, for those who don't know? Tom Homan is Donald Trump's border czar. Tom Homan is human concrete. Tom Homan is the guy before the election openly said, we're going to remove we're not going to separate families. We're going to remove them. Does that mean citizen children? Yes, the citizen children are going to go with the undocumented parents. That Tom Homan, who during the Biden administration, the DOJ, specifically the FBI, caught him in a sting operation on camera, accepting $50,000 in bribes in a kava bag. That Tom Homan, in which that investigation magically vanished when Pam Bondi took over the DOJ. That Tom Homan, when he was asked about it by Laura Ingraham of all people, didn't say no, said, I did nothing wrong. So that Tom Homan is now going to replace, if you will, Bovino, or being shown to be the replacement, right? So as Bovino goes full Nazi, Homan is the more, if you will, acceptable, refined Nazi. He's the white citizen counselor to Bovino's KKK. You all with me? All right. Now, Stephen Miller, he is the architect of all of this. He is the most powerful man, unelected man in the world. As Donald Trump is dying, and I don't know if he'll die, but he's dying, the person who's running the shots and the person who essentially, according to those who are inside, runs the DOJ and DHS is Stephen Miller. This is Stephen Miller's wet dream since 9th grade. Stephen Miller is a straight-up white supremacist. Stephen Miller is Budget Goebbels. Stephen Miller is Pee Wee Himmler, all right? This is the man who has dreamt about ending birthright citizenship. This is the man who bragged that we have limited refugees, but we have made an exception for white refugees. This is the man who unleashed ICE in the summer against brown communities in LA, seeking a conflict, right? This is why he was the one who gave the green light, according to the Wall Street Journal, to unleash master armed ICE agents in LA, specifically at Home Depot and 7-Eleven. This is the man who's been itching for a Reichstag fire. This is the man who in the summer said that, yes, I can invoke the Alien Enemies Act because we're under invasion. The Supreme Court, in a rare rebuke, said, no, this is not invasion, and the immigrant and the immigration problem is not an invasion. You cannot invoke the Alien Enemies Act. For those who don't know what the Alien Enemies Act is, it is invoked during wartime, and it was invoked most shamefully by FDR during World War II, where based on scant evidence and fear-mongering, surprise, surprise, does it sound familiar? This United States government authorized an executive order to intern Japanese-American citizens. So these poor citizens, American citizens, left their home, left their jobs, and were essentially in concentration camps for 2 years. He wanted to invoke the Alien Enemies Act, okay? He's also tried to invoke the Insurrection Act. Insurrection Act, he said it multiple times. Pam Bondi, he said it multiple times. I've always reported on this that when asked about it, President Trump did not say no. 2 weeks ago, actually, not even 2 weeks ago, last week, when asked about Insurrection Act, Donald Trump didn't say no. When it came to the protest after the murder of René Nicole Goode, what did Stephen Miller call it? Insurgency. Insurgency. Okay. After the murder of Charlie Kirk by a white man, before there was anybody, Donald Trump went on cameras and blamed radical left-wing terrorism. They lied to you. All right. Just like how he blamed René Nicole Goode for her own murder and lied and said she violently ran over Officer Ross. Donald Trump said that. Okay. And then Stephen Miller said, Charlie Kirk made me promise him that I would take out radical left-wing terrorism, right? So they've been looking for the Reichstag fire. They tried it in the summer, failed. They tried it after the murder of Charlie Kirk, failed. They tried it after the murder of the National Guard member, right? By an Afghan national. Why did that fail? Because that Afghan national worked for a CIA unit, was radicalized by the CIA unit, and furthermore, was made a citizen under the Trump administration. So 3 times they tried for the Reichstag fire. The 4th one is Minneapolis. They have been trying for the Reichstag fire with Minneapolis. Jill B says, how do you talk so fast? I talk like a New Yorker. I think like a New Yorker. I walk like a Californian. Sorry if this is too fast. I think fast and I talk fast. But hopefully you all can join me. If you want me to slow down, I could slow down. Is Lev here? Lev, send Lev an invite. I didn't see if he was here. All right. Lev is here. All right, I'll invite you, Lev, in 1 minute. Give me 1 minute because I want to get to next steps, right? So now what's happening, folks, is you heard people say, oh, look, they're going to go after Kristi Noem and Corey Lewandowski. Oh, look, they're getting rid of Bovino. And I say, fantastic. Oh, look, pushback from some Republicans. Great. Oh, look, the polls. Fantastic. I just want you to realize, as long as Stephen Miller is in the White House, the white nationalist program is still in effect. The white supremacist agenda is all go. All right. This is the end goal to all of this is fascism. It's done in the architectural stylings of Nazis and white supremacists. All right. Just pay attention, folks. Everyone, I read some otherwise smart people saying, man, if they got rid of Bovino and Noem's head might be on the chopping block, maybe Stephen Miller. Folks, I'll bring Lev on because he has insiders in a minute. Stephen Miller is the most powerful unelected person. He is the only loyalist who has stayed next to Donald Trump. All right. He's the only one. He's been there for a decade now. If he leaves, the White House falls apart. Okay? Donald Trump is dying. He knows if he gets rid of Stephen Miller, the White House falls apart. He also knows if he gets rid of Stephen Miller knows where all the bodies are buried. All right? So everyone who says Stephen Miller is leaving, I need to believe it to see it. Everyone who says, hey, man, maybe there's going to be a change. Oh, no. These Republican reeks ran on this. They celebrated it. They applauded it. They knew exactly what was going to happen. They just thought black and brown bodies would be killed. They didn't realize that this administration was so reckless, so corrupt, so violent, that they would back-to-back kill 2 white people and then bungle up the cover-up. So don't give them any pass. I got to give them credit. You have to give them no credit. Well, let me give them the better. At least nope. I want you to have eyes wide open. They all supported this, voted for this, embraced it, endorsed it. Every single one. Do not forget. There's a story. All right, if I may. I'll bring Lev on in a second. I want to have some conversation with him if he disagrees with me. I also then want to talk about the Democrats because I do not have any faith in Democrats and neither should you. I'm all for redemption. In fact, I'm going to talk to Lev. Of all people, Lev, you would have told me 2 years ago I talked to Lev at least once a week. My God, are you kidding me? I'm like, Lev is one of the worst people on earth. Lev Parnas, that guy was in the cult. That guy called Donald Trump the Messiah. He is that Lev. And then in the summer when Lev used to come on these chats, and I'm like, is that Lev Parnas? And then Lev came on and I talked to him. I was very skeptical. And then, since the summer, when Lev came, he always says, I don't want to go live and I don't want to go on until I get it confirmed. And so far, he's batting 1,000. And I'm sure we have our disagreements, and I've lost some friends, by the way. I've lost some people, I won't name them, that who are so pissed off at me for talking to Lev because they don't trust Lev at all. And they're like, I can't believe you're doing this. He's such a bad person. But I'm like, listen, man, I don't agree with Lev on a lot of stuff. He's done some terrible things, but right now he's been batting 1,000 when it comes to his insider scoop, and all of this was to say that I'm perfectly fine with the redemption, but you have to earn it. Okay, I'm not God. I don't know what's in your heart. When it came to Michael Cohen, always skeptical. I was always skeptical, right? As long as you are doing the good deeds, I can only assume, inshallah, I hope your heart and mind has changed. If not, that's between you and God. But the reason why I also brought it up is there comes a point where it's not redemption. I know you don't care about redemption. I know you're just trying to save your ass. And this is why I was bringing that up, is there's a story in the Quran and the Old Testament where the Pharaoh, right? And this is within Islam, is right before the water hits the Pharaoh. The Pharaoh apparently says to God, I was wrong. You were right. But at that second, that redemption, that apology, that awareness are not accepted. Too late, right? So that's where I feel like these Republicans are. Too late. You showed your hand. I know you don't care. You went all in. Too late for me. I'm going to remember all of you. And furthermore, I'm going to say this about the Democrats. The 7 Democrats last week who decided to vote in the House to fund DHS and ICE after the murder of René Nicole Goode, after the polls showed that there was a swing, after they saw ICE terrorizing our communities, after they saw 230 plus brown men get kidnapped, Kilmar Garcia, after they saw what happened to Mahmoud Khalil and Rameza Ostrich, and they still voted for it. Done. Tom Suozzo, I'm talking about you, Tom Suozzo of New York. I don't know if you all followed this. If you didn't catch the left hook earlier today, Leah from Indivisible told me, and then I went and saw it. Tom Suozzo of New York, one of the 7, came out today and apologized and said, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I didn't know." I'm like, nope. You wear that vote on your damn head for the rest of your life. I will never, ever forget. I'm going to make sure Henry Cuellar, Jared Golden, you will never run for a Democrat. You can run for a Republican. You ain't never, ever running as a Democrat or an independent. Even if you run as a Republican, we're going to get the Republicans who are going to turn on ICE because they will. Just wait. Republicans are turned on ICE once their communities get screwed. This is why these white Republicans are coming out, because literally it's harming their business and they're killing white people, which is why that complexion is for the protection. And once white bodies bleed, this country moves. I said it 2 weeks ago. I've been saying it for a couple of weeks because I'm an American. I'm a student of American history. So those 7 Democrats, I'm never going to forget it. And then also with the Democrats, and now I'm going to tell you what the Democrats are doing. I'll bring Lev on if he disagrees with the analysis because he has insiders in the White House. So if he thinks I'm wrong about this Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller stuff, Lev, I'll defer to you on that. Your batting average when you say, I know so far you've been very good. Democrats, what have we been saying since last week? Go to Minnesota. Go to Minnesota. Go to Minnesota, stand with the people. Stand with the people. It's great optics. It'll help you. It'll show the people Democratic Party is listening. Stand with the people. You had Ro Khanna go today. It was just announced that Senator Warnock is going to go tomorrow. They should have been there last week. They should have been there last week, standing side by side with Mayor Frey and Governor Walz, showing solidarity. And furthermore, I will add a unified message of abolishing ICE. The wind is behind your backs. The polls are with you. White people are with you. You've even got some white Trump voters. You've got an entire generation within 2 weeks that got radicalized by an agency that should have never been created, that's been around for 20 years, doing this exact same act of terrorism against brown and black and Muslim bodies. All right? Press, blitz, offense. You have a moment. We are American. We have the memory of goldfish. It's the United States of amnesia. We've already forgotten René Nicole Goode. I haven't, but people have. You have this week. Go all in. Apply the pressure. All in. Right now, apply the pressure. Wednesday, folks. Votes coming up in the Senate. I don't have any faith in Democrats. I know you say vote. I don't have any faith in Democratic leadership. They rallied all their power against Mamdani and for Cuomo. Just happened in September. Okay? 8 of the centrists caved, bought by the airline lobby when it comes to expanding Obamacare subsidies. 7 of them just caved and gave the vote. The final vote was 214 to 213. That means those 7 Democrats helped fund DHS. Do you trust them? I don't. Hakeem Jeffries, it was reported, didn't want to whip votes. Now Schumer has come out, and apparently, I just read this, even though the majority of the country wants to abolish and or dismantle ICE, Schumer told the caucus the message had to be, wait for it, quote, restrain, reform, and restrict ICE so that they can do this in another town. Push them. The reason why Ro Khanna is there and Warnock's there, they see where the wind is blowing. The reason why Governor Pritzker came out and said abolish ICE, sees where the wind is blowing. The reason why Tyler Rico said unmask ICE, sees where the wind is blowing. But Schumer still ain't there. You got 2 days. I do not have any faith in Schumer and the Democratic establishment. The majority of the Democrats are not built for this fight. They are not made for this moment. I've been saying it, and people thought it was crazy. I lost a lot of subscribers, viewers, a lot of balloon on folks. I said, I'm done with vote blue no matter who. I'm telling you, they're going to fail you. They're going to fail you. Now you see. Look at the evidence of your eyes. If I was wrong, tell me I'm wrong. And I will gladly always, inshallah, I might be wrong with the possibility of being right, and you might be right with the possibility of being wrong. And if I'm wrong, correct me, and inshallah, I'll parrot your talking points. No problem. All right. I have some ideas of what we and Democrats should do. I see Lev is here. I don't know if he's still here. If he's here, I do want to ask him about what he's hearing about specifically Kristi Noem, Corey Lewandowski, and Stephen Miller. I'm of the opinion that if you get rid of Bovino and replace him with Tom Homan, which is what they did, and if you replace Kristi Noem but you keep Stephen Miller in power, it's just window dressing. Enjoy your lifesaver, Lev.
I got these. My son loves sour, so I got these. He told me to hook these up. These are really good.
Yeah, I like it how you say it's for your son, but you're the one eating it. It's fine. I think you've been hearing me. If I'm wrong, tell me where I'm wrong.
Well, first of all, I want to start off by saying I am proud to call you my friend Waj, and I agree with you. I mean, 6 months, or not 6 months, but 6 years ago, because if somebody would told me and you would have been talking about, I would have also. I was totally, when I was in MAGA, there was no, and that's, I think, people should take a good example of me and you, and people like me and you, because listen, what makes America, what makes our country great is that we all have a voice and we all have an opinion, and we all could be able to voice it without being scared to be prosecuted.
Wait, guys, sorry.
Oh,
our cat just came back. Oh, give me a second.
Oh, right. Look at that. You see?
Oh my gosh, Billu. Sarah, is it Billu? Sarah, is it Billu? Oh, okay. Guys,
breaking news.
My whole family's crying. Wait, Lev, talk to the people. Take over for 2 minutes. Cat, who's been gone for 5 days in a snowstorm. I went everywhere. Our cat just came back. Just 2 minutes. Lev, take over.
I got it.
Talk about how some people could get better. Don't trust the people who can't. And then talk about the White House.
I got it. Right. That's look at. This is breaking news, folks. This is some great stuff. Can you imagine? This is miracles. Miracles happen here. I can't even imagine what the feeling right now, like having the cat get back. That is great stuff. You know what? That's because a lot of you prayed out there. I remember when Waj was out there during the snowstorm and miracles happened. So also, I'm excited to be a part of it. But I just wanted to finish up while Waj is not here. Here, there he is.
Sorry.
No, man, great news. I can't even imagine, dude. I was just saying to you, it's the power of the prayers, dude. You just a couple days ago, you said it.
I'm telling you, this guy, he disappeared since Wednesday. There is a snowstorm. I put it all over. I before the snowstorm came, I froze, went up and down. I had a plan. I went to Staples. And I got staplers in the freezing cold because I was going to go and staple it on the wooden poles. I was bringing a friend over from tomorrow. I was going to change my entire work schedule. I was going to go up and down the other street. Wow. This guy in the snow, what just happened, man? He literally, I've been praying, And like literally, we just like, is that Billu? And my wife just said it. And there's snow that you know how it is. You're in
Yeah.
Florida.
Yeah,
There's
but
like snow everywhere. And this guy's fine. He's like well fed. He's happy. So, ooh, sorry, everyone. All right, continue.
That's great news, man. We need more great news like that. I mean, if we had more great news like that, this would be a great.
Oh,
That was
I
awesome.
haven't slept. I felt so guilty. I got this guy real quick. Well, some good news, and we'll go back to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Nazis in a
please.
second. But I got this cat for my daughter's birthday last year. I'm a very anti-cat, anti-pet person. I grew up like, yeah, I'm one of those immigrants. My wife is the opposite. They're like cats. And I think I just made up an allergy to avoid us getting cats. And then my kids eventually like, you have 800 kids. No, Lev has 900 kids. I have 800 kids. They all teamed up with the neighborhood kids and they're like, let's go get a cat. So we got a cat from next door because they had a whole bunch. And then on my own, I'm like, well, this cat's a kitten and she's lonely, Lulu. She needs a friend. So one day for my Khadija, my baby who's 6, last year for her 5th birthday, I'm like, let me go to the shelter and get another friend for Lulu. So I went and got this guy, Billu. Billu was 2 months old. He's at the shelter. And the reason how I got him, Lev, real quick, is there were 2 kittens. So I went to see those 2 kittens. And those kittens, for those who don't know, they go quick. So I just happened there at the right time. I'm like, I don't know, man. I'll just get one of these kittens. I go to one of the kittens who was actually the size of Lulu. He ran away. Then I went to Billu. Billu came to, I swear to God, Billu put his palm on my hand. And then I went to the other cat, ran away, and then I went to Billu again, and he circled around me. And I'm like, this must be like the universe. So then I
Yeah.
brought Billu, and he just looked at me. I'm telling you, I mean, I don't want to anthropomorphize cats, but he looked at me as like, you ever see a cat look at you or like a dog look at you and say thank you? Like, so like, and so the funny thing is, I'm like the anti-cat, this person, and my wife is so jealous. She goes, man, I clean this cat's shit. I feed him. This cat sits here every day and like makes love to you and kisses you and this and that. So the fact that Billu left, I felt like a burden on me that I had failed this cat. So he sorry, folks, that's what you heard screaming. That was my wife and my kids. So, all right, I'm done. Let's take it.
Yo, let me tell you, watch that. So I just quick story. Also, I mean, I feel you. We went to a couple of months ago, like 6 months ago, to the shelter to get a cat. Also,
Ooh.
my kids wanted a kitten. We went to go get a kitten. We went to there, and my daughter sat down next to a puppy. We ended up leaving with the cat and a puppy, and so I know what it's like, and they're like family. So believe me, I am so happy because. Especially
The
for the kid.
snowstorm also, man, it
The
was so
snowstorm,
cold.
yeah, no,
It
that's
was
awesome.
so cold that all the local animal shelters said that an animal would die. So we thought this, I literally said, man, even if we lost him, if he's in a shelter or someone else's home, as long as he's like, that was the thing. Like, this cat frozen to death. And so it's been on my mind. So yeah, anyway, folks, we're ecstatic. This is
That's
like,
good news. That's
this
a
is
good stuff.
euphoric, man. This is the best news for our family. But anyway, thank you all. Sorry.
I'm
So
just
Lev,
happy. I'm just happy we all could have been here with you when it happened because that was great. Because that
oh
was,
man,
it was the power of.
Billu's such a sweet guy. He's healthy, so he's been feeding. He's been eating well, so he's healthy. He's not dirty. All right. So you
So
heard me
back
talk
to yeah,
about.
back to let's get to the crazy.
Are you okay? You heard me talk about Stephen
Yes,
Miller.
yes, yes.
Your response to my analysis on Miller and no.
You are dead on 100% straight. I just actually went live not too long ago with some breaking news. Basically, my White House sources are telling me that no, Kristi Noem's not going anywhere. This is all fake news. Bovino is the scapegoat. They threw him under the bus. I mean, he's not, and when I say throw him under the bus, folks, it's not like he's gonna go get demoted. People are saying he's in trouble. The news, no, he's gonna get a golden. It's called a golden parachute.
There you go.
He's gonna get paid. He's gonna probably end up working for one of the Trump's companies or one of these oligarch companies, just like ex-Congressman Devin Nunes now is running Truth Social. That's how it goes. Once they use it up, they still keep him in because these people know too much. These people are part of it. They don't just get rid of them. And that's why when they say, I'm going to get rid of Kristi Noem, you got to think of it, folks. She's not out there. See, when people say that, they somehow, for some reason, think that she's out there on her own doing the shit. No,
No.
folks. she's doing it because Trump wants her to do it. She's doing it. So yes, is there? And this is where I think the media screws people up. Wash, because there's a rift, they say, between Holman and Noam. That's true, but the fact that there's a rift between Holman and Noam because they're fighting for Trump's attention doesn't mean that Trump doesn't like either one of them. Trump likes that. Trump likes the competition inside. Who could get more crazier? Who could? This just, again, folks, the only reason, it's not because, this is what I want to make clear, and this is why Waj was 100% right. I want to validate and confirm what Waj was just telling you. And my sources, I've been on the phone all day with them. Trump is not pissed off that there two people died, folks. Trump is not pissed off that this. He's pissed off that they didn't fit the narrative. He's thought that they weren't black, brown, they were not undocumented, they weren't some kind of criminals, they weren't part of a gang, they weren't, because they fit. That's why he's pissed off. So it's not like, when they say the media is right now screaming about, again, it reminds me about like Russia, Ukraine. Trump's doing a 180. That's it. He's sending Holman in there. He spoke to Waltz. This is good news. But then let's take a look what's really happening. While this supposed good news is happening, what does Caroline Levitt do? I always say, watch what they do, not what they say. Caroline Levitt comes out and says, listen, Trump didn't commit to anything. Before we do anything, he's going to have to, Walt's going to have to give us his voter registration list. He's going to have to give us, all the prison and jail that are, I mean, it went on and went on and went on. Nothing changed. Just like Venezuela, nothing changed. Just like Ukraine, Russia, nothing changed. Middle East, nothing changed. Everywhere, these are all theatrical charades, and now they're happening at home. And Minnesota is the front line. So when they say Tom Homan's coming in and something that changed, remember who Tom Homan is. He is the architect of all of this. He is the leader of all of this. He is the what? So this is another distraction. This is another,
Distraction. There you go.
100% Wash. So I want to definitely.
I posted something 55 minutes ago, and I just checked Blue Sky, and I wrote this, and apparently went viral in a good way. If Stephen Miller is still in the White House, that means the white nationalist game plan is all systems go. What we're witnessing just now is window dressing and distractions. Tom Homan is just as bad as Bovino, but less openly Nazi. Keep your eyes wide open. And that's exactly what's going to happen, folks. It's going to be just a distraction. They realize we live in the United States of amnesia. There's too much chaos. They realize, you know what? People have already forgotten about Venezuela. They've already forgotten about Greenland. People have kind of already forgotten about
Greenland.
René.
Just think about Greenland. Last week there was Greenland.
They've already forgotten about the Epstein files, but they haven't. They'll forget about this next week. By next week, they'll forget about it. And you know what? It's all business as usual. This is why. And Lev, now I want to get to the Democrats. I don't have faith in them.
Can I quote you something one of my sources said strictly out of? I want to quote you what he said about Stephen Miller. Hold on a second. I wrote it in my Substack today because this is important. The Ukraine won't parole. I apologize for folks. 1 second. I want to quote it exactly. Was a deep break is a GPs will have under control. I can't find it, but basically, Stephen Miller is running literally an operations, like a operations room out of the White House, overseeing all of this ICE movement, all of this control. Shit, I wanted to give you an exact quote about it. I can't find that. Anyway, Stephen Miller is full force, and they're making a push even stronger right now. That's why Homan's coming in, because they're trying to push Project 2025, because part of what they're trying to do, they know there's no way they're gonna win the elections. There's a major rift in the GOP. There's a major. They're scared they're going to lose now the Senate. Wash spoke about Cruz tape, but I'm also hearing that there's other because this tape was a couple of weeks ago. I think probably
this is before the murders.
Right. And I'm hearing that now there's even more major pressure, and so the push is like Waj always says, if And that's why I always say, if we have a fair election and even allowed to have an election, and that's why we need to go in. But let's go into the Democrats, because I think that has a lot to do with why we need to act now and where we need somebody in charge.
So why we need to act now, folks? I need you to trust the evidence of your eyes and ears, right? I need you to stop being partisan hacks. If you think I'm wrong, I give you the actions of the Democrats. 8 alleged quote-unquote centrists caved at the last second, all of them paid by the airline industry, and now we don't have guaranteed Obamacare subsidies, all right? 7 Democrats at the last second caved. Hakeem Jeffries said, oh, I'm not going to vote for it, but it was reported from the American Prospect that he did not whip votes. After everything you've just seen and heard, the latest reports came out today that Chuck Schumer told the caucus the message had to be, quote, restrain, reform, and restrict ICE, even though people are like, ban it, abolish it, dismantle it. Yesterday, Senator Klobuchar said, ICE has to get out of Minnesota, to which I said, and go terrorize what? Friggin' Maine? What the F, right? So they are not built for this, but they're seeing the pressure. Why is Ro Khanna in Minnesota? He listens. He watches the live. He looks at my tweets, and it's not me, but all of us, right? Why is Warnock there? They see it. Why did Tallarico come out strong? Because he sees it. Why did Pritzker see it? Because, I could be bold, right? These people are not built for this, not made for this. They suck from the same corporate teat, right? They think they're weak, they're coward, they play from behind. It's also ideological. They don't want to be perceived as weak on crime. They don't want to lead by example, right? They would rather tear down a Mamdani than learn from what was good and employ it and will learn it to win elections. So what I say is we, the people, need to put full court pressure on Democrats to put full court pressure on MAGA. Notice how we've said this before. Donald Trump is a bully with a weak chin, weak knees, and weak ankles. He always folds. He's the one that called Jacob Fry. He's the one that called Governor Walz, right? When you go on offense, what happens, Lev? They always fall back. Always.
100%.
Even if it is for a week or two, they're on the back foot.
Yeah, and me and you spoke about offline. We speak about online all the time. I mean, where is the leadership? Where is the people? I mean, right now is such a timing, especially with them now going on the back foot by getting rid of Bovino, by setting in, starting to backtrack a little bit. Even though if you really think about it, they're really not backtracking. If you really think of it, they're double downing, triple downing. They've not apologized. They've not said that he's not a murderer, some kind of suspect. They're still calling him a domestic terrorist. They're still saying he came
window dressing, man. It's just it's just window dressing. Nothing has fundamentally changed. The ICE is still masked. ICE is still out there. There's been no reforms, and Stephen Miller's still in the White House. And like you said, Bovino, Homans is just as bad, probably more corrupt even.
Even worse. He's the leader, because it comes from the
Borders
top. But you guys, that's what I'm saying to you. You guys have to understand, for a guy like Bovino to come out and say the shit that he was saying, he didn't just come out and, he was getting praised. When he would leave that stand, he would get calls from the president, from home, and telling him, great job, incredible, good work. It wasn't like he was, on his own all of a sudden coming out there. That's what they want you to think. But that's not
doing audibles. Yeah, doing audibles as Caroline Levitt and Chrissy Noem echoed his talk about. That's what I was telling them also.
Identical.
I think right before you came on, I was reminding them, what's the difference between what they said about Pretti versus what they said about Nicole Goode? Nothing. They lied about Nicole Goode. Chrissy Noem called her a domestic terrorist. So if this is the bright red line that, oh my God, Bovino said mistruths about Pretti and he said he came there to cause mayhem, okay. Why the F is Christy Noem still DHS secretary? Because she called Nicole Goode a terrorist.
And yeah,
that's all. So we want to take the wins, but I just want you all to know to keep your eyes wide open. Is that they're banking on Democratic cowardice, they're banking on Schumer's weakness, they're banking on the fact that this vote will go along with the separate bill, which is cosmetic changes, and they think, okay, the latest distraction is going to happen. So I have 13% on my phone. I'll see if I could get a charger, but I wanted to spit this out before in the last 5 minutes that we had and get your thoughts on this. This is what I believe. I'm only speaking for myself. The water is warm here, Democrats. Read the tea leaves, see where the wind is blowing. message on abolishing, dismantling, replacing, defunding ICE. All right. Don't vote for it on Wednesday. You cannot vote for this bill on Wednesday if there's no significant changes to it. You can't do it. 3, openly now message on unmasking ICE. I guarantee you that if these people got unmasked overnight, you're going to lose 75 to 80% of ICE's workforce. I guarantee you. Guarantee you if there's calls to unmask ICE and somehow we have to unmask ICE or they have to show their badge, Lev, guaranteed thousands, 75% of these cowards, because they realize, oh shit, this is going to haunt me, my wife, my children, and my family, right? Call for unmasking ICE. Impeachment calls. The number has risen now. You have more than 150 Democrats. All Democrats should be on for impeaching not just Kristi Noem, but like all of them. Impeach, impeach, impeach. Do hearings on this. Share the data, the evidence of the cruelty and the lies. Go to Minnesota. You're already doing it, Ro Khanna. Do press conferences with people in Minnesota, with white veterans in Minnesota, right? Team up with lawyers and ACLU and grassroots activists and educate people how to know your rights. This is what Indivisible did today. Learn from Black Lives Matter. Where did Black Lives Matter really thrive? Ferguson and Minneapolis. Why? Because George Floyd was murdered a mile from René Nicole Goode. Primary. This is primary season right now, folks. Primary season, primary season, primary season. Those 7 Democrats, all the people who failed this week, primary them. Primary them, and if they aren't running for re-election this year or in the upcoming cycle, say you're done. This is it. Enjoy it. You are done. Document everything with your phone. Document everything. The only reason why we know about Alex Pretti and René Nicole Goode was there are multiple documentations, right? And also economic boycotts. Economic boycotts. Enterprise rents cars to ICE. Hilton houses ICE, right? Spotify was airing ICE ads. Target hasn't spoken out against it. There are a couple of these companies that are perfectly fine with ICE is doing. Boycott them. And then finally, my litmus test, I'm going to repeat it, is affordability and accountability. If you're not running on affordability and accountability, that means you're not going to change the system. Abolish ICE or some synonym of it. You can't fight fascism at home if you support fascism abroad. That goes with Israel, that goes with Russia and Ukraine, that goes with anything. Number 4, billionaires. Tax the billionaires, go after the oligarchy. And number 5, you cannot throw marginalized communities under the bus, because if you're throwing Ukrainians under the bus today, Palestinians tomorrow, and Somalis the next day, and Haitians the day after, that means you're going to throw us. So those are my 5 litmus tests. That's what I think they got to do, man. They got to go full court pressure right now, this week. Offense, blitz. No more prevent defense. I have no faith in Schumer and Jeffries, which is why we, the people, have to push them to push Republicans. Your take, Lev.
I agree with you 100% that I don't think that you're going to see any leadership. You're not going to see Schumer, Jeffries, or any of the. I think you're seeing it's up to us, the people, and I think we speak about this all the time. I think it's up to our voices, and our voices are being heard. Our voices are being strong, and you know what? It's not just think about it. It shouldn't be 100 or 150 Democrats that are citing for impeachment. We should have unanimous signing for impeachment already. We should be already having some Republicans that are being pushed to get signed this impeachment. But think about the fact that this is the same thing they were talking about with Epstein files. We're going to do the impeachment of Pam Bondi. We're going to impeach Kash Patel. We're going to impeach all that. It's a lot of it is talk, and that's why we need to stop taking talk and turning it into action. We need to demand action. Like Wash said, it's primary season. Go out there, and it's not just about blue down the street. Vote for people that are out there that are going to make change. We need some fresh blood in Congress, in Senate. People that are willing to stand up to tyrants, willing to stand up to authoritarians, people that are willing to stop. And when it comes to, facilities like ICE and DOJ and all of these, I want to say this one thing. Don't and this is, I want to be clear, we need all of these facilities, but don't think about them the way Trump. They all need to be redone, re-cleaned. If you want to call them different names, yes, we need immigration in America. Yes, we need Department of Justice in America. Yes, we need all of the police in America. So when we say defund, we're not saying get rid of the police, get rid of immigration, get rid of the DOJ. We're talking about get rid of the Gestapo that are being run by Donald Trump and that are destroying our lives. We need reform. We need people that care. We need people that like just take a look at a perfect example with the National Guard that went into and were wearing the yellow jackets, Waj, and the difference between the way they were approaching people and the way ICE was approaching people. Though ICE was spraying them with canisters, and the National Guard was giving out coffee and and donuts and talking to the people, calming the situation. And that's a perfect example. That's exactly so. So it's not the people were out there exerting, making this. It was ICE that was pushing it. That was and it comes. And the one thing I want to make sure everybody understands: don't take your eye off the ball. Do not let them blame somebody. This comes from the top. This is Donald Trump's America, folks. This is what Donald Trump is allowing them, and it's being run by Stephen Miller. They have Stephen Miller. They have a command post, folks. They have a command post in the White House. Stephen Miller is at odds with Susie Wiles. You got all of them at odds with each other, but the one person that nobody's at odds with is with Donald Trump, because this is what he wants. They're not embarrassing him. This is how we started the conversation was, and this is what I want to repeat again. It's not Donald Trump is not upset that Americans are dying. Donald Trump is not upset what's going on. Donald Trump is upset that the people that got killed do not fit the criteria of what? They're not black, they're not brown, they're not undocumented, they're not criminal records. That is what Donald. Just think about it. This is the president of the United
Two white citizens. That's what pisses them off.
That's what
Two white citizens were caught on camera being murdered by ICE, and they can't spin it away.
They can't spin it. Otherwise, you would already have insurrection, folks. If there was no cameras, or if this was a black or brown or an immigrant or undocumented or some sort of felon, I promise you, there would have been already the insurrection law signed. And just think about it. The only reason they can't pull the trigger is because right now, and that's why the time, like Wash says, is now time to.
No, it's right now. This week. This is it. This is all we have.
Make the push, everything, because right now, Waj, I'm starting to hear, and like I said, the interesting part is the Epstein files was the only thing we had, and now the way they push this, because of the Second Amendment, they screwed up so badly with the way they know. Because I'm hearing from all of my insiders in Trump world, the NRA's pissed off. You got so you got not only MAGA that's pissed off right now, you got all the Second Amendment right people pissed off, and it's all a confusion. And that's why if we had a little bit of leadership, and that's why I pray if somebody stood up to the plate, what I'm saying to you, and came out and grabbed the fire and went to Minnesota and stood up to Trump and said, you know what, you want to come over here, you want to come through and get Governor Walz or Mayor Frey, you got to come through me. You got to come through us. You got to come through each and every one of us. We're standing here. Come here. We're staying there. ICE, you got to come through us. All. That's what we need. Unity.
Yep. They're not built this way. They're not built this way.
They're not.
They're not built.
They're not. Watch. That's why we need to blood. That's why.
And that's why if you had a unified message, you'd have a unified strategy, but they're not built this way. This is the perfect. We don't need ICE. We need immigration reform. We'll replace ICE with something better. ICE has failed in its mission. ICE was supposed to immigration enforcement. There's no immigration enforcement here. This is not going after terrorists. It's going after. Look, I'm doing this. This is me just top of my head. I would just give me a microphone. I'll be Chuck Schumer. This is not what ICE was intended for. This is not why we funded it. It was not meant to terrorize fellow Americans. We need to tear it down and replace it with an agency that actually keeps us safe. You just do that. But they don't have the leadership. They don't have the vision. They don't have the chutzpah. They don't have the spine. We have to push them, and we have to work piecemeal to cull them. Take them apart. This is the moment. Push up the glasses. I'm going to write a strongly worded letter to ICE. Bovino, come on, Bovino. Don't do it. They're not built for it, folks. It's 10 years. What more do you need to see? 10 years. They got to go. And before we go, and we're going to get them out. We're going to get them all out. Before they go, use them. Use them to at least, inshallah, put some sand in the gears to slow down this machine. Death through 1,000 cuts, folks. So that's, some good news, sure. The pushback. wonderful. Bovino being transferred, pressure from Republicans, growing disdain, people coming out, losing some white supporters, white Trump voters. All right. This Wednesday, the potential for the Senate to actually shut down or threaten to shut down the government. You're seeing, Republicans are terrified. So going to Lev's point, and Politico just reported on immigration. Immigration used to be slam dunk for them. That was their slam dunk. He's negative double digits on that. They're like, shit, man, without immigration, we've lost the economy, we've lost immigration, we have lost healthcare. This isn't good, right? Because they're going to go for some form of martial law or rigging the elections, but they can't get to all the elections, the special elections, right? A few of these, will go against Republicans. They're afraid. They're on the back foot. And what Democrats will do is punch themselves in the face instead of punching them on the back foot. I have no faith in them. You should have no faith in them. You don't believe me? I give you last week. I give you the 7 Democrats. I give you what they did to Mamdani. I give you how they caved on the shutdown. They will cave. They will cave unless you pressure them. Pressure them, pressure them, pressure them. And then Emma said, okay, when you end, please repeat your 5 litmus tests. All right, this is just my litmus test. This is not all my issues. This is just my floor. My floor is I will not support you, Democrats, unless you promise and give me specifics on affordability and accountability. You give me specifics on affordability and accountability. Abolish, dismantle, defund, whatever synonym you want, ICE. Number 3, I refuse to believe that you're a fighter who will fight against fascists. If you support fascism abroad, you still take money from AIPAC, you bear hug Benjamin Netanyahu. 4, you have to go against the bro-oligarchy. Easiest way. I'm giving you a floor here, something that Republicans, independents, and Democrats like, something that will help you with all the polls. Tax billionaires. 5, I'm going to pay attention to who you throw under the bus. If you're willing to throw a marginalized community under the bus today, that means you're going to throw me under the bus tomorrow. You're not with me. That's my litmus test. I'll let you, Lev, final word to you and promote yourself.
Thanks, Wash. I actually just came out to listen to you. I was laying in bed, and you got into such a good conversation, and I figured let me jump out quickly, put on the shirt, and because the conversation is extremely important, folks. We got a lot of things going on. There's a lot of moving parts. Nobody, I love the way Wash connects the dots. Incredible, and I just want to say this. Well, the one thing I do ask of you, we have a petition out there. I'll put it out there later on. And it's a petition. It's called the Epstein petition. It's to be able for Congress to go out there and subpoena Michael Cohen, Michael Wolff, and Steve Bannon to come testify. We have over 6,500 signatures already. God bless each and every one of you. If you could, guys, keep signing it. It doesn't cost any money, but we need accountability, and they're on the run. Michael Wolff already blocked, by the way, just so you know. Michael Cohen is running, but we are not going to stop until we get accountability. So that, and the other thing, I wanted to share some good news with our community. We had that GoFundMe for the generators. We were able to get all the generators, over 40 generators in Ukraine, and
That's great.
And Chef Jose Andreas reached out to me from World Kitchen, and now we're getting them some generators. So we're going to be getting them over. And then today we also Save Ukraine, which is a group that has brought back over 1,000 Ukrainian kids that were kidnapped by the Russians. And
big story.
We're getting them generators. Thanks to each and every one of you guys. And I just want to say this is an incredible community watch. And I want to say this. One of the things that you said and was really important, I want to just touch on before we go, is a lot of people, in your community, in my community, they tell me, why you speak to Waj? They tell you, why do you speak to Lev? And I tell those people, you know what, go screw yourself. Come speak to me a year from now, 6 months from now, because listen, enough of the bullshit. It's about unification. We're allowed to have different opinions. We're allowed to argue our beliefs, and as long as we agree on certain things, which should be everybody, which is humanity, which is making sure that there's peace in the world, making sure that everybody is equal. Doesn't matter if you're Ukrainian, Palestinian, Jewish, Russian, American, we all bleed the same. Doesn't matter if you're black, white, or brown, we're all the same. I grew, a lot of people don't know about me, but I grew up in a very, a world where, that it doesn't matter what color you were, we all were treated, we were all outsiders. We were all, we didn't fit the mold. So that's why I say, to make very important, that right now it's not about that. We all need to join forces for one thing, and that's to save our country, to save democracy, to save humanity all over the world. So we could get back to enjoying by debating policies, going, and then having a great dinner afterwards and laughing it off, because that's what America is about. So, folks, let's stop with the division. Let's start being more unified, because the message is about getting our country back. So, Waj, I want to thank you for taking the chance and bringing me on. We built a great relationship. What you went through, I went through, but I'm happy that we're able to fight together to get the truth out. And one day, I look forward to having some really good debates on some subjects, and I think they'll be fun to watch when we get our democracy back.
Yeah, but right now, listen, you need all hands on deck, folks. It's all
Right.
hands on deck,
Right.
and you need to have a bare minimum. And I have my own. Everyone has their own red lines. I get it. Everyone has their own red lines. It's all subjective. But like I said, Miles Taylor. I'll give a quick. I'll end on this example. Miles Taylor, a couple of years ago. I remember I did this tweet where I said, "Man, all these people now conveniently, leaving the Trump administration, even though you knew who it was. I'm done with this redemption arc," and they all fail up, right? And Miles then unfollowed me. Then a couple of years later, I saw what Miles was going through, specifically last year, and specifically how Trump signed an executive order calling him a traitor. And I felt really bad, so I reached out to him through Olivia, and I said, "Listen, Olivia, I was harsh on Miles, and I'm harsh on all these Trumpers. I am. I was harsh on Lev. I was and am harsh on Michael, because I'm like, how could you? How could you be with this man who's a rapist, a criminal, a vile human being? And now you figured it out, right? Stuart Stevens, some of the people on the Lincoln Project, I've talked to them, all of them, about it, right? And then I saw Michael for the last couple of years, what he's gone through, and the fact that Trump went after him, and then I saw that he's used his resources and his outlet to go against Trump. So I said, let me reach out to you via Olivia. And Olivia said, hey, he's fine with it. He's willing to come on. And then he came on. And so he came on my Substack. I came on his Substack. And he invited me to this event next month at the National Press Club. And it's a whole bunch of folks, people who are on the left, some people are on the center left, a few people on the center non-Trumpers. I agree with many of them. Some of them, I don't care for. But I'm like, all right, they're going against fascism and they're supporting democracy. I'll join it to keep the tent big. So at the end of the day, I say, I'm not God. I don't know what's in people's hearts and intentions. I can only judge them by their actions. And similarly, like me, you might disagree with me on a few issues, but hopefully you can say, you know what, at least this guy is sincere and authentic and cares about our country and democracy and has never, ever sugarcoated Donald Trump's racism, white supremacy, and authoritarianism, right? And if people can reform themselves and become better, I try to be very radical when it comes to reform and redemption. Redemption has to be earned, but I try to be radical, because if that wasn't the case, folks, all these people were jailed as young men. All these people were once poor. I know a lot of people, they're older. You would never believe they went to jail. You would never believe the type of men they were when they're young. And they're like, aren't you the imam of this community? And they're like, yeah, man, but when I was young, I was crazy. So you have to give people an opening, an off-ramp. And then it's up to them to earn it through their actions. That's my take on it. And so I appreciate the 3,000 people joining us at 10:20 p.m. on a Monday night. And Lev put on a shirt as he ate his sour gummies, and he stole his children's sour gummies. That's fine. And inshallah, what we have to do now is, there's a few people, like I said, folks, some of these Republicans who went all in, I'm going to go back full circle. I'm not interested in the redemption, because there's no redemption arc. This is just them protecting their own ass. But there's some other people who said, I can't believe I voted for Trump. I was a fool. You were right. I was wrong. I'm joining you. I've learned. Okay, widen the tent, right? As I've always said, we have 70%. If I could just get 70%, then the caravan moves forward. The rest of the 30%, the door will always be open. My hand will be outstretched, but it's up to you to reach out and get on board. But the door will always be open. That's my take on it, Lev. Lev, I have 3 seconds left. Shamelessly promote yourself.
Folks, Lev members, subscriptions are for free, but if you can, paid subscribers are what makes the algorithms work, helps support the system. So it means a lot to me, means a lot to Waj. So we're there to work 24 hours to be able to bring you the information that the mass media is not. Thanks for having me, Waj.
Yeah, the leftug.substack.com /special. I just put it in there. It's a 25% off all of January, $33.75 forever. So if you enjoyed this is what keeps it going. If not, everything is free. There's no paywalls. If you can't afford it, I completely understand. At least subscribe, because that's what helps the algorithm. I'm sorry, folks, it just does. And so you at least get this, and then you can push it up forward, and more people can get it. But if you have $3.75, take advantage of the special. lefthook.substack.com/special. Literally, $3.75 a month, $38 a year, and then go subscribe to Lev Remembers as well. Thank you all. I'll post tomorrow's show. I have some really good guests coming tomorrow, very smart. And then some very good guests came on today also. I strongly recommend listening to Garrett Graff. He wrote this fantastic piece on The Wired. He's a historian. He talked about, Lev, you should listen to this or read the piece, how Donald Trump has literally self-immolated America. He breaks down how Donald Trump has done everything that Putin and China dreamt of doing. And he has 6 pillars that made America great, and how each pillar, Donald Trump on his own has taken out those pillars. I thought it was a fantastic conversation. I'm not just saying it's because it's the left hook, but Garrett really went down and broke it down, how you couldn't have dreamt of a better Trojan horse to destroy America.
Yeah, I look forward to reading that, but I just from what you said, I agree. You go.
Thanks,
go
all.
play,
Take care, everyone.
Enjoy your cat. Go with
Later.
the family.
Bilu's back. For those who, Bilu, during this live conversation, my cat, who's been gone for 5 days during the snowstorm, we've been sleepless nights. I've been out knocking on doors. This fool just literally waltzed in like nothing was wrong. He just waltzed, literally pranced through the snow and walked in, healthy, happy. So good news, folks. We'll end on a good news there. Thank you all for coming. Everyone take care of yourselves. Please, oh, please don't be a fascist.
Take care.